start out by talking about how at A&E you think about, from an advertising standpoint, balancing consumer experience, which is obviously super duper important for you as a content company, and the sort of business of running A&E. How do you balance those things?
Sure. Well, I mean, consumer experience is everything. If you think about it, we've got two audiences. We have the audience that we program for, and then we have the advertiser, who is our audience that supports our business. Without that first audience, without the consumer, without a good experience, without great programming, without a great way to bring them in and make them want to come back, it's very, very hard to do the second. So we always lead from a consumer-first standpoint, whether that's how we program, whether that's how we schedule, whether that's how we develop new products, over-the-top products, whether it's how we develop our TV everywhere, our watch apps. All of that is in search of an ever-improving experience.
So then let's talk about the other half of that equation, which is advertisers. So what are you seeing, and maybe their agencies, what are you seeing from the buy side these days? Where are they innovating? Where are they pushing you guys to innovate? Are you co-creating ad products? Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. I think right now in this industry, there definitely is a bit of a bifurcation, a division between what the brands want and what the agencies need to deliver. That, in a lot of ways, agencies and brands are our clients, and when we speak with brands are talking about results for their business. They're talking about top-line growth. They're talking about better metrics, better ROI. When we talk to agencies, obviously agencies are intimately involved in that. But ultimately, agencies are also judged on a cost efficiency basis, and so that necessarily creates a bit of a friction in the conversations that we have between brands, agencies, and ourselves. And I think increasingly we find our role as being a bit in the middle of that, right? Making sure that we are delivering the cost efficiency and the proper business rationale to our agency partners while working with brands to try and convince them that television in particular is a driver of their business, right? We never really had to do that historically. The agencies took care of that for us.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. So you are having to sort of tell the story and prove the case in ways that you have not traditionally had to do?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think historically we relied on our agency partners to tell that story, and now brands are simply too sophisticated. And what we found is that agencies certainly try to tell that story, but given all of the roadblocks and the speed bumps that exist to connecting television to business outcomes, it's not necessarily the best decision to let somebody else do that for us. We have to take some of the lead on that ourselves.
Super fascinating. And would you say, back to the kind of original question, are they wanting to co-innovate on ad products? Is that marketers? Is it agencies? Is it neither of them?
More marketers than agencies, I would say. I think one of the biggest challenges with innovating on ad products is that it takes a certain skill set, and it's a skill set that isn't necessarily one that naturally exists within agencies. I think it's one that clients certainly push agencies to develop in certain cases, but it is definitely not ubiquitous. So sometimes it is faster to go straight to the client and work with them on something that works for their business. We see that especially with direct-to-consumer brands, right? Brands that might not even have long-term legacy agency relationships, brands that were born in the digital environment and live in a digital environment. They simply have different expectations from television, and part of working with them is that it has gotten us up to speed in talking more about outcomes and different types of creative and different types of executions that are going to get us there.
So we don't have time for today, but there'd be such an interesting conversation to be had about how we do in fact help agencies who are in such a weird and precarious,
absolutely,
I think, a difficult position.
Absolutely.
I think not necessarily through a fault of their own.
No,
although
I think it's in all of our interests as an industry to have a healthy sort of three-pronged approach between media owners, agencies, and brands.
Absolutely. Maybe the fourth leg could be technology companies.
I think it almost needs to be.
Yeah. So last question, what change would you most like to see in the television, with writ large definition of television?
Yes.
Would you like to see in the television industry?
I would probably like to see an appreciation that the optimum, the getting better, is not necessarily something that is going to happen overnight, right? I'd like to see an understanding that that television serves certain purposes, and those purposes can be a little bit dual in nature. It does serve a quick reach, relatively efficient purpose, but it also serves as a business driver. I would like to see clients and agencies spend more time thinking about their funnels and really being honest about the places where TV fits into the funnel and the things that it has to do to succeed there. I think too often we don't have an honest conversation about that. We expect television, and really every media to a certain extent, to be perfect everywhere. I think the sooner we get to a place where we are honest about what each different format can do, that's going to get us closer to where we're headed.